Hello and welcome to Sports Week. I'm your host Dan Tracy. I'm joined by my strike partner, as always, Tolu Shatadi. Tolu, Happy New Year. I hope all is well, my friend.
All is well. We're all having fun. The Premier League obviously didn't take a break, but the African Cup of Nations is getting hot now.
It really is getting hot. We're at the business end of the tournament now. We've reached the quarterfinal stage this weekend. And first, we've got two of the Friday quarterfinals to talk about. First up, Mali versus Senegal. So, Tolu, what's the tale of the tape as these two nations go to task on Friday night?
Mali had a really it was a strange game they had against another North African team in Tunisia. They played really. They played. I wouldn't say they played really well. They played with 10 men for the majority of that game. They conceded very late on, and it looked like Tunisia were going to win. And then it went right back and equalized in added time in the second half. It took the game to extra time. And once it goes to extra time, and of course the penalties, sometimes you always feel like the underdog will win the game. And that's exactly what happened. This time, though, I think it's going to be a lot more harder for Mali. They take on a Senegal team who are one of the better teams at this AFCON. They've shown the games that they have played. They suffered a little bit of a scare early on against Sudan. They conceded first, but from then on, they took the game to the next level. It looks like this Senegal team has gears to get to that they haven't really been pushed to get to. The front line is absolutely electric. Ismail Assar is back in the team. Sadio Mane and Nicholas Jackson looking really dangerous. But it's in midfield where they look really strong. There's Idrissa Gana Gueye, there's Papi Gueye in there. And at the back, they even could do without the very influential Koulibaly in the round of 16 game. And they still came out of it looking really good. They've got a really strong team, this Senegalese. And I think that Mali will need all of the grit and all of the defensive solidity that they can get in that game. But I think ultimately, if they want to make the game physical like they've done with some of the North African teams, they famously held Morocco to a draw in the group stage, this Mali team. So they're no slouches. But if they want to go physical, Senegal are more than capable of coping with them physically. And then when you take it to the level of them taking it to the tactical level, I feel like Senegal will still have the better of them. Senegalese still have to be very wary of Yoko, the striker for Mali, who looks like he could be the difference if Mali are going to get anything from this. But I struggle to see how they'll get past this Senegal team. And I think it basically almost looks like it will be Senegal's day.
Well, Senegal are certainly short favourites when you look at the betting odds before Friday. You mentioned Mali's defensiveness, their robustness if required. If they are to get to the last four within 90 minutes, do you feel they have to get the first goal and then use those defensive skills to lock out Senegal?
So the thing is, I don't think Senegal are a team you can keep out from scoring in the game. Sudan tried it in the game. Obviously, you cannot compare Sudan to Mali. But I think it might be something to worry about if Senegal do go behind in this fixture. If you watch the game against Egypt, and I'll continue to say the game against Morocco in the group stage, Mali really stayed solid for long spells. And against the Tunisians, who were very street smart, and despite playing with 10 men, they were very solid. My point with Mali is, I think sometimes you have a sort of siege mentality when they played the host who they felt they weren't getting the calls against, and they almost got the team to play really well. Against Tunisia, they got a man sent off, and they felt really hard done, and that brought them together. But I think against Senegal, I think they need something to hold on to. If they do get the first goal, it could be very tricky. But I think they'll need more than getting the first goal in that game against Senegal, because the Senegal team is really good. But yes, if they do get a goal, they might stand a chance. But I think they probably need to go 2-up against the Senegalese team to have any real chance of knocking them out.
Okay, then, Tolu, it's time to put your money where your mouth is. Which way does this one go in terms of the AFCON quarterfinals?
So like you said, the odds for the Senegal win are pretty short. Maybe not doesn't have as much value. But I would be very bullish and tell you that we're getting to the business end, and you're going to see some of the bigger teams really turn on the style. I think that's what Senegal are going to do against Mali. I probably will go with Senegal win to 0. I don't think they're going to concede. I feel like Mali are going to be ultra defensive because they cannot afford to go toe-to-toe with this Senegal team. I don't see Mali scoring, to be honest, which is they only scored 1 goal They scored 2 goals in the group stage, scored 1 goal. So they scored only 3 goals the entire tournament. I don't think they'll turn into a goal machine against Senegal. So I think the smart move will be Senegal to keep a clean sheet and a win to nil for Senegal.
So good news for Senegal there, but we've also got the small matter of Cameroon, Morocco later that same Friday evening. So host Morocco. This is the big one for Friday night. Host Morocco maybe have been fortunate to have some refereeing decisions go their way. There's been accusations of home bias. Whether they need it against Cameroon, I don't know, but I'd be keen to take your view on how the hosts have done so far and can they get to the Final Four at the expense of the indomitable Lions?
Now, this is a game, and I remember that I said before the start of the tournament when we talked about the AFCON, I did remind you that this Moroccan team is probably on paper the best team on the African continent. We've seen what they've done at the FIFA World Cup. But I remember that I also said that they have a way of almost making a mess of it, especially at the AFCON. And I think it's almost happened twice now. They probably should have lost the game against Mali in the group stage. They also were very, very close to being embarrassed in the round of 16 game against Tanzania, where a late call could have seen the game go a different way. Against Cameroon, I did think Cameroon were going to beat South Africa. South Africa are one of the few teams on the African continent who will dominate some of the bigger teams. They did dominate Cameroon early on there, so that could be the worry for the Cameroonians. But look, Cameroon, the average Cameroonian fan feels like this could be their year, not because they're the best team at the tournament, but because of everything that the team has gone through in the build-up to this AFCON. They had 2 squads, believe it or not, 2 squads were named by 2 different coaches who claimed to be the Cameroon coach in the build-up to this AFCON. And it only took the intervention of the presidency to be able to stay with one team. It was a team that had Vincent Abubakar and Andre Onana in it. That didn't get through. It's the new one that didn't have both of them. So there's a feeling amongst this current Cameroonian crop that the world is against them. Fans at home in Cameroon are divided about whether or not Samuel Eto'o has done a good job with the FA or he's even torn it apart even more. So the funny thing is no one gave Cameroon a chance coming here, but they've got some really, really decent players. I think Carlos Baleba has been really well in midfield. But it's the front line. They've got absolute pace up front, and that could be a problem for Morocco. That said, on paper, you could say that Cameroon have the weapons to really stretch this Morocco team. But like I said, when the AFCON gets to this stage, the big teams usually turn up. Achraf Hakimi has started to play for Morocco now. And look at Brahim Diaz, who's scored in every game for Morocco at this AFCON. So it's going to be very interesting, this one. I feel like the Moroccans have the tendency to choke, but I don't think that Cameroon have got the quality to take advantage of it. I thought they were extremely lucky against South Africa. Could have been 3-0 down in the first 20 minutes of that game. They scored against the run of play twice, and then South Africa still ensured a grandstand finish when they scored 1 and finished 2-1. So crazy things have happened in football, but it's got into that time of the tournament where the big guns will start to turn on the style. I still have my fears about this Morocco team. I think Cameroon will push them, but I think Morocco will get the better of them.
So is that your prediction for this quarterfinal? Is it as simple as a Morocco win in 90 minutes?
Nah, this one's not going to be done in 90 minutes. I can assure you. It's gotten a draw written all over it. I think it'll go to extra time, and then the quality of the Moroccans might show in extra time. But I think I'd probably go with a full-time draw in this one, but I'd go Morocco to progress.
Well, a fascinating Friday night of AFCON action awaits. Tolu, thanks for your time as always.
You're welcome, Dan.